Alright, let's talk about one of the biggest legends of all time. We've all heard the name, Eldorado, the lost city of gold. Towering temples gleaming in the jungle sun, streets paved with gold bricks, treasure beyond our wildest dreams. It's a story that has fueled obsession, launched countless expeditions, and cost more than a few lives. Before we pack our bags for the Amazon, one thing. As of today, October 4th, 2025, there is no proof a city made entirely of gold ever existed. A tantalizing theory, a whisper on the wind, a ghost story for adventurers. Powerful idea, not a proven place on any map. The legend of Eldorado is a game of historical telephone. What started as a story of a man and a ritual became the legend of an entire empire of unimaginable wealth. But the Eldorado everyone imagines, the sprawling golden metropolis, is likely a European invention, a fantasy born from greed and a profound misunderstanding of indigenous cultures. They sought a city dripping in gold, a projection of their own desires. But the real story is more fascinating. The expedition leads not to golden walls, but to a sacred lake high in the Andes. The original Eldorado wasn't a city, but a man. A leader known as Eldorado, the Golden One. The quest to find him is the real adventure. Long before the Spanish arrived, the highlands of Colombia were home to the Muisca people. For them, gold wasn't currency. It was sacred. The sun's energy made physical. They crafted spectacular offerings called tunjos, not for trade, but for the gods. This is where the Eldorado legend begins, at Lake Guatavita, a stunning crater lake high in the Andes. It was their sacred portal to the divine. Here they performed the ceremony to appoint a new leader. When a new chief, or Zipa, was chosen, he became the living embodiment of Eldorado, the Golden One. The ritual was a spectacle of spiritual significance. The new king would be stripped naked and his body coated in sticky resin. Attendants would blow fine gold dust all over him, transforming him into a living statue of gold. Imagine it. The king, gleaming under the Andean sun, led onto a ceremonial raft. The raft laden with immense quantities of gold, emeralds, offerings for the gods of the lake, paddled to the center, shores lined with thousands of people, playing instruments and chanting. Smoke of incense fills the air, celebration all around. For the Muisca, it was a profound act of faith. The Golden King would cast treasures into the sacred lake, then dive in, washing the gold dust from his body. But when Spanish explorers heard of a man covered in gold, they imagined something else entirely, a city of gold. Driven by God, glory, and gold, their quest began. When the Spanish heard the Muisca's story of a golden king, their imaginations went into overdrive. The story of Eldorado, the Golden Man, quickly morphed. The man became a kingdom, then a lost city of pure gold. This is how the legend spun out of control. The mythical city became a moving target. When searches near Lake Guatavita in Colombia failed, the legend didn't die. It just moved, with explorers looking elsewhere. Its supposed location shifted across South America, from the highlands of Guyana to the Amazon basin. With each failed expedition, the legend grew more alluring. The stories became elaborate, streets paved with gold, and a king with a garden where plants and animals were life-sized replicas of gold and silver. These tales inspired investors, and the city, Manoa, was even printed on official maps. Sir Walter Raleigh became obsessed, leading expeditions to find what he called the Empire of Guyana. His writings about a golden city on an inland sea fueled a European frenzy. The legend took on a life of its own, becoming a treasure map to a city that didn't exist. This obsession became a fever. Conquistadors launched brutal expeditions, forcibly conscripting thousands in their mad chase for a myth. Chasing the ghost of a golden city, expeditions marched into the Amazon. But these were journeys into hell, and the price was astronomical, measured in human lives. The Europeans were completely unprepared for the relentless heat and torrential rains. Their armor rusted, supplies rotted, and men starved. They were tormented by swarms of insects, venomous snakes, and diseases that tore through their ranks. Desperate for clues, they captured and tortured local people, adding to the devastating human cost. These expeditions became brutal campaigns of terror, spreading violence and disease. But in the end, every single one failed. Not one found a city of gold. Explorers returned not with gold, but with harrowing stories of starvation and conflict. The fever for Eldorado drove thousands to their deaths. While some ventured deep into the Amazon, others remained fixated on Lake Guatavita. The logic was simple. Muisca rituals meant the lake's bottom was a treasure trove. The first attempt in the 1540s recovered enough gold to prove the stories true, sparking a centuries-long gold rush. Then, around 1580, Antonio de Sepulveda hired thousands to cut a massive notch into the mountain. The lake dropped 20 meters, revealing gold artifacts and emeralds, including one the size of a chicken egg. But the project ended in disaster. A catastrophic landslide bankrupted an early attempt, but it cemented Guatavita's reputation as a sunken treasure chest. For centuries, many tried to conquer the lake. The most advanced attempt came in 1898. A British company almost drained the lake, but the exposed mud baked into a concrete hard crust, trapping any treasure beneath. Then, the rains came. In 1965, the Colombian government declared the lake a protected site. Treasure hunters found gold, but they never found Eldorado. As centuries wore on and no golden city materialized, the legend took on a new life as a metaphor, representing two opposing ideas. For some, it's the ultimate get-rich-quick dream, the idea that a single discovery can solve all problems. But for others, it's a cautionary tale of insatiable greed and the destructive quest for wealth. Failed expeditions, the violence, environmental destruction at Lake Guatavita, they all serve as warnings. This version of the legend tells us that a treasure defined only by its monetary value is ultimately empty. The conquistadors who chased this dream found not riches, but starvation, disease, death. Eldorado, in this sense, is a mirage that exposes the folly of greed. It's the destination you never reach, which makes the destructive journey there all the more tragic and pointless. But there's another, more profound way to look at the legend. From a different perspective, Eldorado can be seen as a metaphor for a different kind of wealth. Spiritual enlightenment, cultural richness. In this view, the real treasure wasn't the gold itself. For the Muisca, gold was a tool for expressing a deep connection to the divine. The true city of gold was their thriving, spiritually vibrant society, a wealth of tradition and art. Blinded by their lust for metal, the conquistadors couldn't see this. They searched for a city of gold while destroying the true treasure all around them. Just as the Eldorado legend faded, a new mystery reignited the world's imagination. In the early 20th century, British explorer Colonel Percy Fawcett became convinced a great ancient civilization existed deep in the Amazon. He wasn't looking for gold, but for Zed, his name for a theoretical city, evidence of a complex urban society where science believed none could thrive. Fawcett was a seasoned surveyor and methodical investigator, not a wild-eyed treasure hunter. In 1925, explorer Percy Fawcett, his son and a friend, ventured into Brazil's Mato Grosso region, searching for the lost city of Z. After a few dispatches, they vanished. Their disappearance became one of the 20th century's greatest exploration mysteries. Dozens of rescue missions failed to find any trace, deepening the allure of lost cities in the Amazon. For decades, archaeologists dismissed explorer Percy Fawcett's theories of lost Amazonian cities as fantasy. But recent discoveries are proving him right. Using LiDAR technology to digitally remove the jungle canopy, they've uncovered vast ancient urban settlements, with causeways, canals, and pyramids. These aren't cities of gold, but proof of the advanced civilizations Fawcett was looking for. After centuries of searching, why does the legend of Eldorado still hold such power? We know there's no city of gold, yet the name echoes on. Eldorado has become something more than a place. It represents the very spirit of exploration, the magnetic pull of the unknown, and the dream that there is still something great left to be found. The legend's power lies in its vagueness. It's a blank space on the map of our imagination, one we can fill with our own hopes and dreams. It's the ultimate what if that keeps us looking over the horizon. In an age of satellite imagery, it feels like everything's been explored, but as recent discoveries of Amazonian cities show, the jungle can still hold secrets. Ultimately, the search for Eldorado is a search for ourselves. It's about pushing our limits, testing our courage, and daring to believe in the impossible. The real treasure was never the gold. It was the quest itself. The legend endures not because we think we will find it, but because we hope we can. The expedition is never truly over. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay curious.